Hi, this is Cody with BeautiControl, and in this video we're actually going to talk all about brows. I know there's a lot of questions that you might have on brows, how to shape them, how to fill them, how to pluck, how much is too much plucking. So we're going to talk about that. So first thing we're going to talk about is the shape of our brow. When you're shaping your brow should really start right here at your inner tear duct. You should be able to draw a line straight up. That's where your brow should start. Now as far as where the arch should be, you should actually be able to, on the outside of your pupil, you should be able to go from your nose at an angle, and from there to the outside of your pupil is about where your arch should start. Some pupils, it's naturally in a little further, that's fine. You just want to be as close to that as possible. As far as where your brow should end, you can actually end it as far out as you want. It should not ever be lower than the interior eye though. So if you come around your lip and up at a 45, that's about at the angle it should be. It should end out here. Again though, you don't want it to be any lower than the interior eyebrow, because what that's going to do is it's actually going to drag your eye down a little bit. You want everything to lift up on the outside and give you those bright, beautiful kind of cat eyes. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to do a little more natural brow fill. We're actually going to do this with powder. Pencil tends to give you a bit more of a real super defined brow, and we want something soft for this one. So actually you can use any powdered eyeshadow we have, or we can use a bronzer. We're actually going to start out on the bronzer, just because it's a little lighter, and that way we can always go darker with the shadow if we need to. So I'm going to use the middle color here with an angled brush. I'm going to use a fine little angle brush. Stiffer the better. And what you want to do is actually when you're applying, you want to use short little strokes. Just kind of stroke it in there. You don't really want to get real you want to make it look as much like hairs as possible. So if you just draw a straight line across there, you're going to have a real harsh line. And we're doing powder, so we want it to look a little more natural. Now, if you have a flatter brow, what you can really do to make it look a little more arched is on this, from the arch point in, you can actually apply your powder a little more on the underside of your brow. That's going to bring that down a little bit. And then from the arch point out, you can apply it on the top side. Overfill a little on the top. So that's actually going to give you that faux arch that's not really there, but is there. Again, this is a powder, so it's not going to really be that dramatic. It's our BeautiControl. This one's actually in, what color is this? Just the Bronze Beauty. The middle shade. So this is great if you are, just running to the grocery store, you just want to fill in your brows a little bit. If it's this is great for work. I wouldn't do this for a night out. Usually at night you want to do a little bit more of a brow. Also, when you're filling your brow, it should be darkest on the outside and kind of lightened towards the middle. You should actually have more of an ombre effect, is what I like to call in the middle. If you go real dark on the middle of your eyebrow, you're actually going to close off your eye a little bit, which we don't want to do. So, we got the powder on there. Next thing I like to do, this is a completely optional step, is take a little bit of concealer. And I put this on the back of my hand, use the same brush, and I run a thin little line of concealer on the underside of the brow. That's really going to lighten that area up. It's also going to define it a little more. It's going to clean up any powder that you've overdone maybe. So take our concealer and just run it right underneath. I'm using the TFF concealer actually. You want it to be a thinner concealer. You don't want anything that you would use on an acne or blemish spot. That's going to be a little too thick, and it's really going to add cakiness to your eyebrow that you don't want. If you do like I just did, where you've actually did your concealer and then you got it up in your eyebrow. This is the thing about makeup, it's completely forgiving. You should be able to go back in and fix what you've done. So I'm going to clean my brush out. And I'll actually just go back in with my bronzer and go over the top of it. If you make a mistake, don't sweat it. It's makeup, it washes off, it's not permanent. It's not surgery. Nobody died. Just go in, and there we go. So that is our powdered brow. It's a little more natural, not really giving you any sort of super, super crazy definition. So, say you're going out for the evening and you really, really want a real defined brow. So we're actually going to use our pencil, and we're going to do that on this side. Now, a tip for your pencils or your powders is if you're a blonde, you should go one shade darker than what your hair color is. That's generally a tip for that. If you're a brunette or a redhead or you have darker color hair, it's generally 2 shades. This is going to, your eyebrow should be a little darker. It's going to, A, give some warmth to your face, and B, make you not look quite so washed out. So, same story with the pencil. You want to use short little strokes. You don't ever want it to look like you've gone crazy with your eyebrow pencil and just drawn a line. You can start to get that kind of, I like to call it Sharpie brow. Probably not the best name for it, but it's not a look that you generally want to go to. If you've got thinner brows, you can overline them a little bit to thicken them up a little bit. I wouldn't go too far outside where your actual brow line is, as you really start to see. Now, if you get a little too much, just take your finger and dab it in there. Or you can grab a great little, let me see where I have it, great little brow brush. I'm not finding well, there we go. Little brow brush. This is actually going to help you get all those hairs going in the same direction, so apply that over there. It also works for getting rid of, softens out those lines a little bit. Now if you've got crazy like unruly brows and you really want them to lay down, you can use a eyebrow wax, which is great. It's going to hold these down a little bit. Completely unnecessary step. You can do it if you want. So again, you can use your concealer on the underside. Really give you that clean, pretty brow. Just take a little bit, don't have to use much. We're not really concealing anything, we're really just highlighting and cleaning up that extra bit of powder you might have, or the extra bit of pencil. Highlighting. When you actually put something light next to a dark, it makes the dark look darker and the light look lighter, and so it's really going to highlight right there. And that is our brows. So go out there, try it. Again, if you are scared of them, don't be. If you're going to pluck your eyebrows, actually, I just thought of a great trick now that I'm almost to the end of the video. So, say you're wanting to pluck your eyebrows and you're afraid that you're going to mess up the shape. Take a dark eyeshadow color, fill in the shape of your eyebrow that you want, and then go in and pluck according to that. Any hair that's on the outside of where that is, pluck that hair. Because I know when you get in the mirror, you get into the zone, you just start plucking, and then you've got no eyebrow left. So, fill in that shape, get what you want, step back, see if you like it, and then go to town plucking, and you're going to have that beautiful brow that you want, and you're not going to thin it out too much. So, have at it, go out there, get those brows looking great, and hope you enjoy the video.